I had a bowl of carrots ready because I thought we were gonna watch a movie, but no, we're recording now. Now that I have my good mic, I can't eat my. Now I just have to sit here looking at my bowl of carrots, and I can't eat them because we're gonna be recording for a bit. So good Bleach opinions, woo wee, wowie zowie.
Sound like a fucking rabbit. Ooh, the delectable carrots right out of you.
Yeah, they
Oh
are
boy,
right out of
wait.
you. They are right.
I know, but you sound like a rabbit.
Right? Okay, so anyway, we were gonna like mostly go off like comments under like the main channel videos that we thought were like cool
Did you write
Bleach
any
takes.
down, or am I gonna
Yes,
have to go comment hunting?
I
Okay, good.
sent them all like to you in like a DM
Oh,
accidentally.
you're right, you did. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go to the top of this. All right. I like Soifon Shikai and Bankai. She is an assassin and great at it, but it isn't fully her true nature. She was born into it in Mario Ricci. But yeah, I agree. This is just the thing of how like Shikai shows like what you present to the world. Bankai shows your true self.
Yeah. That's actually a point I never brought up. Like I think I
I
may have said
think
it
I've
for like
talked about it with you, but I think you forgot to bring it up in the video.
yeah, I think I may have like said it for a specific character, but not that like you can kind of apply it across the board. Like I think I said with Tosin and like that's it.
Yeah, and like that's the point is Soifon is tries to act like a cool assassin, but she's actually like a loud, explosive little shit.
Yeah.
And it's funny. That's why she's embarrassed by it. I'm pretty sure what you said is whenever a character doesn't like their Bankai, you can read that as them not liking an aspect of themselves.
Yeah, either like self-loathing or like lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, and I think that's also why it's cool that we never see Aizen's Bankai, because Aizen doesn't want to show anyone his true self.
Yeah, that sounds like yeah, because like you could even argue that like he didn't even show his true self to anyone, like not even like
No.
Gin, who like knew him best.
Next, Aizen not having a Bankai makes sense. He doesn't understand himself. This is also interesting where it's like, it's very possible that Aizen doesn't have a Bankai. Like, he just straight up hasn't unlocked it, which would also be very interesting.
Yeah,
It would
because
also
like
kind of go against his whole like rejecting the logic of the Soul Society thing, or like Bankai is the bare minimum for being a captain, and even though a lot of the captains suck, where it's like Aizen, who dwarfs any captain besides Yamamoto, doesn't even need one.
yeah, I do think it is an interesting idea that like maybe he never had one. Because did Aizen like like part of the thing is like Aizen like wanted like his equal to like help test himself. So like if he
Right.
never got to that point, then there's probably parts of himself that he didn't like get to learn or
Well,
understand.
what people pointed out is what if his sword, because it is the hypnosis sword, is a fucking asshole and really hard to communicate with.
Oh yeah, no,
um,
that'd be funny too.
and then the other thing they said is, I'm hoping Aizen will use it in the anime fight against Yubak. That was the moment where Aizen finally understood himself and his place in the world. I guess I can I guess it kind of just feels like a filler attack, right? Where like even if he uses it, it ultimately won't do anything because we know what actually defeats Yubak.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it's like if I did get like an official Bleach source giving me Aizen's Bankai, I would
I think
throb
that
at
was
the
cool.
mouth. I would throb at the mouth, and be like,
Well,
"Fine!"
also,
Ugh!
but also in my ideal world, that would just be Hell Arc.
Oh yeah, no, same. I'm with you
um,
there.
let's see here. Oh, cool. The theory guy we like.
Oh yeah, no, like I
Another.
want to bring this up because like I actually did not know that this was a big YouTuber when I first saw this comment,
Nice. Oh,
and
and
then
then
like I actually
here's
like
a
had a couple of his takes from like a video that he recently uploaded that I thought like we could talk about instead because I
nice. We'll see.
yeah there's this one that I thought was really interesting. It's that Gin and Tosin are Aizen's right and left hands, but they carry aspects of like both because they're normal people and not like literal
Right.
symbols.
But they have like the things they exemplify more.
Yeah.
Where Tosin is like Tosin presents himself as like the honest man, and Geen presents himself as the sinister, lying, deceitful fuck.
Yeah.
But then like also Tosin likes keeping people in the dark. Geen wants nothing more than to just Geen in a sense is almost like honest with how deceitful he is. Like he makes it very clear you should not trust him.
Yeah.
And then we got a good comment pointing out how a really cool thing about Gin's Bankai is it turns his sword to dust just like Rangiku's, which
Yeah,
is true.
thank you, Shaggy profile picture.
Uh, Next, my theory for the name of Kenpachi's Bankai is Kenju no Zarashi. The Kenju comes from Yachiru Zanpakuto, Kampo Kenju. Plus, it means sword beast, which is a pretty apt description. That's a fun idea.
Yeah,
No,
that's
like I won't say any because obviously none of the Kenpachi Bankai theories can be wrong because we don't know. But I
yeah,
will always prefer the idea that it's fucking nameless because that's the most metal answer. And
right.
sometimes I just want cool shit. Sometimes I just want cool shit.
It's like you can think of like 1,000 really cool names for his Bankai, and like I'm like that's really cool though. But also, I like
There's
this
also
one.
like the great irony of like he always asks his sword for his name, and the way he uses the full power of his sword is that he doesn't even need to speak its name.
Yeah.
Next, I'm really glad somebody else came to the same conclusion as I did about Unohana's Bankai. But more than that, I also believe that 1,000 years ago, at the time
Oh,
the
this is a
first
big one.
generation of
This is
the
like split into like 5 different ones.
oh fucking hell, at the first time the Gote 13 were founded, Yachiru Unohana had different Zanpakuto abilities than we see her having by the time of the story of Bleach. I think it makes a lot of sense if Unohana's Zanpakuto abilities would have completely changed after she took on the name Retsu and became a gentle captain. Her battle with the kid Zaraki had a profound impact on her life and changed her. If her Zanpakuto Minazuki also changed to reflect this enormous shift over 1,000 years. That's an interesting idea. Can't really prove or disprove it because we've never seen a functional sword. Fuck off, Renji and Ichigo. We've never seen a functional sword like change like that. um, we also know that Zanpakuto abilities can grow and evolve. Thus, yeah, it could theoretically also change entirely. Like, I think that's definitely possible and is interesting. I
I
just
kind
can't
of
see
like.
Yashru.
Personally, I always thought. Oh, I guess we could finish saying before.
No, and then it's this is the part I want to comment on. I just can't see Yachiru Unohana, the brutal, powerful captain of the 11th Division, having a Zanpakuto with a Shikai that does nothing but heal people. That's not all it does. It also melts people. Um,
Well, the
and then
Shikai.
she
We're not
points
sure if
out,
the Shikai melts people or
oh,
not.
Shikai, you're right, Shikai. If anything, I feel she would consider to be a nigh worthless. This would also contradict her learning Kaido from Tenjiro Kirinji, as she only learned it to prolong her fights. It wasn't to heal other people, which is all her Shikai can do. If her Shikai already possesses, well, in that case, maybe back in the day she did just use her Shikai healing to prolong fights.
Yeah, like or like maybe it was just like like oh man, this guy's tough, but also like I'm injured from that last guy I fought. Eat me, my
Yeah,
Shikai.
because like Minazuki does look fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Like it's a scary looking ability. The name of Unohana Shikai also contains Satonji for eat drops of meat, which certainly doesn't reflect its abilities. I would assume that 1,000 years ago she had a living type Zanpakuto. Oh, that's similar to a novel Kenpachi. His Zanpakuto can seemingly just eat anything,
Oh yeah, I know the
which
one.
they bring up, and would transform into a creature that simply devoured any opponent in Unohana's path. That's an interesting idea. I don't like it because I don't think Unohana would want a Zanpakuto that does the fighting for her.
Yeah, like I imagine like she'd want like one that like lets her like get up in there and not just
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
still.
think
I don't think it's a bad theory at all. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I believe that maybe or like the way it heals now could be radically different from how it healed back then. Like it's possible back then all it did was heal her so she could fight longer.
yeah. Personally, I kind of like don't like the idea of Unhan's like Bankai like changing over time because I thought the
Or her
point was
Shikai.
or yeah, or her Shikai changing over time because like I kind of thought like the reveal that like oh she's the last Kenpachi was like there's these two parts uncontradictory, nothing has changed, she's simply like shown one side then showed the other.
Yeah, she's just showing more about herself.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I gotta go to the next thing you sent me. All right. Where the fuck? Oh wait, here we go. We got more. Unohana considered limiting of Zaraki's potential to be her greatest sin. In other words, just like the blood pools, Unohana's bloody Bankai has the power to cleanse one's body and wash away impure Reiatsu. That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that. That's a good
Yeah,
read.
that's cool.
Um, um, has the this is why we see Zaraki wither away into a skeleton, not because his flesh is literally dissolving, but because his metaphorically. No, I think he's literally dissolving. I think it's both. I think he
It's
is also
both.
literally dissolving. I think think it's I. It doesn't need to be one or the other. It can be both, and I'm pretty sure it's both.
That's the coolest one is that it's both.
um, let's see here. Like, it's definitely possible, but I would need confirmation to believe it. There's a great deal of symbolism in the differences and similarities between Hitsugaya as the young prodigy and Yamamoto as the old leader, Ice and Fire, Moon and Sun, new and old. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
they
that's
don't.
interesting.
The thing is, they don't. The two characters don't interact a whole lot, but it is like kind of cool that like you can point that out.
You can make, well, I mean, the loose comparisons are, if anything, the one Hitsugaya has the loosest comparison to is actually Old Man Yama's vice captain, because they clarify he, just like Hitsugaya, had an ability that controlled the weather, and he, just like Hitsugaya, was a young prodigy with elemental abilities, yada yada. So that could be something too. I do think that some of their similarities might just be a coincidence of what, like, typical Moon, and like Moon being associated with ice is very common, and Sun be associated with fire is very common. Example, fairy tale. So, like, you could definitely read some stuff there, but I think a lot of it might just be the natural coincidence of having a fire and ice character. I say this mainly because they don't interact. The only like, I think the only reference Hitsugai has to Yamamoto is when Baz B's like, my fire technically might be better than his Shikai, and then kills Hitsugai. Unohana braids her hair in the front to hide the scars Araki gave her when they first met when he was an adolescent. That's true.
Yeah.
There's definitely a twisted kind of romance between the two. Okay,
I'm
you know
not
what?
sure about this one.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna be nice and assume they don't. Fuck it. No, if you mean like romantic and like they're into each other, no, I don't buy it. When Hano finally found a match, Saraki found an opponent she couldn't kill. Their respective love for combat runs parallel to their emotional feelings. They're enemies, but there's an intimacy in their attempts to subdue one another in battle. I don't agree with that. Um, Swordsmanship is their love language. I think that's kind of pushing it. Like, dude, it doesn't need to be intimate and romantic. It can just be two people that heavily respect each other.
I mean, like I would go beyond respect. I think they do just like have some sort of like like love or affection for one another.
Oh no,
like,
no,
or
they
just
have
some
a
deep
love, but I don't think
connection.
it's romantic at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think
I
it's
think
romantic.
that's like overly simplistic.
Like I am with the surrogate mother son. That's the camp I'm in.
Mm-hmm. I think I hate that too. For the record, I think Unohana had never had a romantic relationship. As what man would be worthy or brave enough to approach her with romantic intentions? Okay, that feels kind of goofy. Ooh, I'm the cool, strong girl. No man will ever approach me. What is this? A fucking like Twitter comic
Well,
about
well,
a
well,
big buff
well,
girl?
well, listen. She's super hot, so I think some guys would have taken a shot at some point.
Yeah, no, she's probably like, you have to beat me, and they're like, all right, never mind. She died happy, or she probably said you have to beat me, not because she thought that was a good point, because she thought that was a good way to get him to fuck off.
Yeah, I know. Like, cause she said like no, like the only man who ever made her happy was Kimpachi because he was
She
super
died
strong.
happy not only because she succeeded in the Soul Society's goal, but because she also finally allowed herself to be subdued by the old. That feels weird, dude. I don't I don't like that reading. That reading kind
I'm
of.
not sure why you'd use the term subdued when she fucking died.
Yeah, no, that term's kind of, I don't know, it's icky. All right. Hey there. Loved the video, my man. I felt the need to share with you my general headcanon for what Aizen's Bankai was. My theory is pretty straightforward. Aizen's Bankai is an antithetical to his Shikai. Similar to soy phones, okay, if there was a practical application for Aizen's Bankai, we had absolutely no use for it. Okay, that's kind of the thing I brought up, Puff. Like, if his Bankai um, harmed his plans in any way, he wouldn't use it. Like I said, what if activating his Bankai undid all of the hypnosis of his Shikai, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very likely that like, I think that is another fun. Every Aizen Bankai theory is fun. I'll
I
be
know.
honest.
Like, is there a way to make it bad? Like, I can't think of
Like,
like
the idea that
one.
he doesn't have one is the idea that he'll get one while fighting Yuaba, kind of annoying because it'll be like the Sasuke Kirin attack in the Naruto anime where it didn't do anything to um, it'd be kind of cool. And then this is also cool. Like, yeah, I really like the idea that his Bankai, for if it for any reason got in the way of his plans, would be reason enough for him to not use it.
Yeah.
Um, my general idea has been that Aizen's Bankai is the exact opposite of a Shikai. While Shikai allows him to manipulate the world of others and make them see only the truth that he wants them to see, his Bankai allowed Aizen to see the truth that he wanted. It's because of this that Aizen saw what the Soul King truly was. I don't like the idea that he needs a Bankai to figure that out. I like the idea that he's just smart or like, fuck it. We know from Can't Fear Your Own World that there's just books on this shit if you look hard enough. I feel like Eisen of all people would be able to sneak in and get that.
Yeah.
uh, Analysis on every Bankai becomes easy as you understand one fundamental thing about them. Shikai is the personification of the ideals and mindset of its wielder. Bankai is the exteriorization of the real self of the wielder. Soifone thinks of herself as an efficient, strong, fast assassin, but she's actually brash, loud, angry, and has an explosive temperament. That's true. Kyoraku thinks himself as childish and carefree, but he is mature and a bit depressed. I think it's not just how you think of yourself; it's more so
How
how
you
you
present
want the
yourself.
world, like it's not how you think of yourself, it's how you want others to like think of you, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you could be aware, like Soy Phone I think is kind of aware that she's like kind of a goober. But
Yeah, but like
she
she
still
she has the
presents herself as
persona
cool.
of a
Yes.
cool assassin lady.
My favorite is Aizen. Through his very calm and collective demeanor, great intellect and power, his Shikai is a perfect mirroring of himself, right? But how is he actually? Well, we can see glimpses of his rage and temper when he is sealed by Urahara. So people theorize that he doesn't show his Bankai because it shows his flaws. Yeah, that's another thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I also like that theory. Thank you. Is this the next one? Mayuri's Bankai. The way I read it, it's almost as if Nemu is his real Bankai in a weird sense. Ashishogi Jizu is just a tool to him, but Nemu can't be replaced. Okay, this is basically just like his whole thing is a giant Bankai baby that he repeatedly remakes and kills forever, whereas she's the baby he doesn't want to kill and remake forever. It's cool.
Yeah.
It shows. Well, I mean, that kind of shows how Mayuri doesn't really care about himself at all because that Bankai is him. I think
And
one
you
of
know, we know that
Ichigo's.
like he like replaces parts of his own body all the time and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So similarly, he will fuck up his Bankai because he doesn't care.
Like he
I
literally
think one
got
of
like
the.
turned himself into like a bunch of water at one point.
Oh yeah, that was gross. I think one of Ichigo's Zanpakuto spirits being himself is very interesting because it shows that deep down Ichigo only relies on himself. So Zanpakuto spirit manifests itself just to look like the user. While his Quincy powers merge with Shinigami, and since Ueba is the father of all Quincy, his Zanpakuto also take. Yeah, basically the two powers he's relying on. I think it's cool that the Hollow powers specifically are what he are the ones that look like him because it's kind of showing that like the rage, the love of fighting, all that. That's Ichigo is like
Yeah.
that. Like that is a reflection of Ichigo's genuine feelings. I think the reasons Ginjo's Bankai is unnamed is because he's a substitute Soul Reaper. Like Ichigo, it means he would have had he wouldn't have had an Asuichi, so his Zanpakuto is incomplete. But on top of that, he lost those old powers, got a full bring, and then combined Soul Bring with Ichigo's. At best, his new Zanpakuto is a shadow of what it could be. There's a lot of interesting things with Ginjo. Like one thing that makes me think, Puff, that we're not seeing Ginjo's true powers at all is that in Can't Fear Your Own World, whenever he does anything, it's repeatedly stated that he's just using Ichigo's powers.
Even
Like they
though he should
clarify,
have
he's
like a bit
just
of everything or almost
like they're
everything.
clarifying he's just doing a Getsuga Tensho. He's just doing Ichigo stuff. So
Yeah.
like it's possible his old power set is just gone. Or it's possible his old power set was the same as Ichigo's. Or maybe his old power set is just kind of like pointless compared to spamming Getsuga
Oh, I know.
Tenshos.
I imagine Ichigo's like stuff was like better than whatever he had. So it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna do what's
Who cares?
stronger.
Um, Okay, so this is above his fight. This is when you pointed out that like, oh, is Renji holding Rukia because of like a marriage thing? And then this guy said the odds aren't 50-50. When you are getting married as the groom, you hold your bride with your left hand and then walk them down the aisle so you can protect them with your right. Renji having a hand that reaches out to his opponents can also double as reaching out to protect someone, or mainly reaching out to Rukia so he can protect her. While his right hand contains his sword, the method of protection, and the same weapon said to be Cool theory. I don't think Renji's Bankai is based around wedding traditions.
I mean, I
Like,
definitely think
cool
like the
theory. I don't think the basis of your logic makes sense.
I think like they did want to like to have like the same arm when use the same arm whenever he like held Ruki or
No,
like
I
reached
think
out to.
that's
I think that
definitely
was
intentional.
intentional.
But I don't think I think the wedding connection is not likely. Just because, like, when does we don't even see Renji and Rukia get married?
Wait,
if
I think in
weddings
one
were
of
like,
weren't in
if
one of the
weddings were that
novels
core
like
to
we
his
see them
character,
like don't we see them like announcing their wedding in one of the
I think
novels?
so. But like, if weddings were that integral as
Like
like
there's a
a
little illustration of it maybe.
maybe, but like if it was like a genuine motif and like integral to them, I think we would have seen it. It's explained in the inn. What is the inn?
In
That takes
the
place after Thousand Year Blood War. That it was not that Ichigo was not ready or couldn't hear Zangetsu's name. That old man Zangetsu's name. This is basically you said that the reason Ichigo couldn't hear Zangetsu's name is because he wasn't ready, but
yeah,
a
I know.
common
This is
fan
just
theory
this
that
is just
I think Kubo confirmed it in his question corner that he does like every 2 weeks now. That yeah, that was the idea, which is like sure, I don't care, either way
yeah.
works.
I
That's
do
definitely
think
more
it.
interesting now because the Blood War anime is expanded on Ichibei more.
Yeah, and I got like a few comments like this correcting this point, and like that is interesting that like it's like oh he did have an original name that Ichibei
So it's
erased,
like
so it's like fuck
even
I
while
don't know
we're
I don't know how to introduce myself to this kid anymore now that I don't know my name. I guess I'll steal his Zanpakuto's name. That sounds like a good
well,
idea.
it's also kind of cool because like within it, it's like Ichigo's whole thing is he needs to get Bankai to be able to defeat Byakuya. But the problem, and that's cool because like that's him trying to fit Soul Society standards. Or in Soul Society, getting Bankai is the sign that you can fight captains. But within trying to meet those standards, he's blocked by the people who made them. Because Ichigo is not part of the Soul Society, so it benefits the people of it, don't benefit him the same way. And that's even why, notably, Ichigo doesn't just beat Byakuya with only with his Bankai. He pulls out the Hollow Mask.
Yeah, which is actually
um,
supposed to be closer to his actual like Shinigami powers than what he was actually using.
yeah. Um, Kenpachi Bankai must be related to Kendo Sampo Kenju Yachidu Shikai. I love Bleach fans. Like Yachiru able to control his part of his inner beast. Three of them might be some fraction of Kenpachi. Uh, and when reveal herself, her true power, blah blah blah. Eh. Um. Okay, what's funny is if you want to see a version of Kenpachi using the beast forms that Yachiru had, there is a Bleach Brave Souls character for it, and it is very fucking cool. uh, basically, Brave Souls added what I like to call like um a level beyond Bongai, just like
Oh my
third stage of
god.
swords.
Oh my
It's
god.
no, they all look. I showed them to you. They all look
Yeah, I
very
know.
cool.
I remembered. Like I got flashbacks. I'm like, oh, that thing.
A
Yeah.
lot of them do look really cool. The most interesting one is Yoroichi gets one, which is the only time we have ever seen her fucking Zanpakuto ever. And it looks like a ceremonial sword because she's from a big family, which also explains why she doesn't fucking use it. Um, One thing I've noted is that all five Zanpakuto types have similarities with their mental traits. What I mean is, the users of the same types share similar personality traits. Sensory type Zanpakuto are insidious, like Shinji, Tosin, Rose, and Aizen. Power type are direct and aggressive, like Gin, Ichigo, Soifon, Byakuya, Renji, Ikaku, and Genpachi. Alright, even then, like you're kind of pushing it. Like Byakuya's isn't just a power type, and which fits Byakuya because
I
Byakuya
thought his
isn't.
was a technically a keto type or something cuz like
Yeah,
he
it's
had
true,
to
and also
manipulate it like psychically
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. And which makes sense because Byakuya isn't the fact that we can't tell what it is actually pretty fitting for Byakuya because he kind of tries to do everything. Like he can be a close combat brawler. He can spam you from a distance like an asshole. He can do whatever he wants. But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, well, that's just kind of like typical like good power writing. Your power fits your personality. Um, Elemental Zanpakuto have multiple subcategories: ice, fire, lightning, water. But overall, they influence their environment by working within the natural order. Well, that's technically not true to the same degree because like Chojiro and Hitsugaya literally manipulate the weather themselves, which is unique. Whereas Rukia, Yamamoto, and Ishin just make their own. Ishin seems even cooler because it seems like it has like an activation rule that Yamamoto and Rukia's doesn't.
Yeah.
Um, So like I don't agree because it's all very different. Like I think what Yamamoto's is like Yamamoto's is basically just him being embodied in an element, whereas like Hitsugaya is like the whole thing of like he rejects the world, but his power lets him control it. Ooh, um, Keto types are unpredictable and cunning, such as Urahara, Shunsui, Ukitake, Shutara. It's decent. I feel like it's just
I
like a
mean,
little too
I
simplistic.
think
Like,
Momo kind of pokes a bit of a hole in that. She's not exactly unpredictable or not.
no, she's a bit of a doofus. Oh.
She's like got a lot of like school smarts, but like she doesn't strike me as the same type as like Urahara or like
What
Shunsui.
type is Kira's? I don't fucking know. Living types are harder to analyze mainly because there's so few. The only two are Komamura and Unohana. Um, and then Spirits Are Forever, which we can't fucking read because, as Chas and I have checked repeatedly, Puff, the fan translation for that is kind of stinky.
Yeah, I will
So
happily wait.
yeah, I got no hurry. Um, Basically, they're saying is maybe with living Monkai, they will pursue their selfish interests even to their own harm. I wouldn't say selfish interests. I would just say interests to their own harm, which is cool. Yeah, their swords can get hurt just like them, which is like an extra factor of danger, and they are pretty self-sacrificing as they both sacrifice themselves to one degree or another in their final fights.
Yep.
Okay, that one's pretty good too. I agree. Thank God we were able to farm your audience.
Yuppers. Okay, is that
Okay,
all of
that's
them?
it. That's it for the comments.
All right, now here's the ones that we got like a little handful here that we
All
came
right.
up with. Okay, so this is just a fun theory is that that Zomari is the hollow that attacked Orihime when she unlocked her powers.
That's
Or
your theory.
or
Don't you
possibly
say we. I think that's ass.
or that it's possibly like one of Zomari's siblings because we know sometimes a wrong card will have siblings.
It's possible. I don't care.
I just
Either
think it was very fun. It's like, ooh, like a weird, like spiky little guy who like manipulates people as their power. Wow, wouldn't that be who else do we know who does that? And it's like literally just
Well, the other thing
like
is
the pre-evolution to Zomari. He looks like.
the other thing is we know that a lot of the buffed hollows were created by Aizen, right?
Yeah.
And that reminded me of the tentacle hollow that killed Cayenne.
Well, I mean,
So
we
it's
know that
possible
one
it's...
got eaten by like
No, I'm not saying it's it though, because I'm not stupid. I'm just saying it's like, oh, maybe it's just Aizen fucked with it. I have no strong feelings on it because I don't really care about that thing.
All right, here's
It's so weak. Orihime beats it with her powers. It's
dude,
that
it's
weak.
very funny to think that like he got his ass beat by Orihime, then suddenly he meets Aizen and
I
becomes one of
also
the
imagine
Espada.
Zomari's just a lot older than that. The
I guess
indication is
it's
it
like
usually takes a hot fucking minute to become that strong.
yeah, that's true. Like that's why I think like it's more like he's just like a sibling or someone who just happens to
Maybe.
have a similar
I don't really
power.
care. What's
Yeah.
next?
Okay. Quote: Vastalords are stronger than Captain class Soul Reapers. Unquote. Is carried by Baragan and Stark's OG form.
Um, honestly, I don't even think it's that wrong in. Oh yeah, well, because the idea is like there aren't that many Vasto Lords, and like honestly, the ones we know don't seem particularly weak. Like Ulquiorra, monster, could
Yep.
kill a lot of captains. Um, fucking
I think
Holly
it's
Bell.
because like we don't exactly know how many Espada are Vastolordes or not.
We only know four for sure, and then Holly Bell, was like it seemed like Hitsugaya beat her, but then she tried and immediately broke out, so like kind of unclear there. And then yeah, Stark and Bargan. It's just funny to imagine, like because we know Bargan might just be like the oldest Vasto Lord, potentially the first. It's very
Yeah.
funny to imagine. So Reaper's like, what's that? And then they go try and fight him, like, oh fuck, what the hell? And then they see a second Vasto Lord, and they're like, they don't all get that power, right? Like that's like a him thing, right? And then they try fighting it, and it's Stark, and like, good news, doesn't have the power. Bad news,
It's even
so
worse.
it's just spamming Saros, which is a pain in the ass.
I think it's hilarious to imagine like you go to the Soul Reaper Academy, you learn about hollows, and it's like, all right, so the highest class of hollow is called a Vastolorde, and we know of like two of them. This is Baragan, the king of Hueco Mundo. who just like ages anything he touches. Like he meet. Well, I guess like they technically didn't know what his power was because
No,
like
no.
Soifon didn't know.
I
But
assume
it's
it's
funny
just
to
like anyone
imagine
who has approached him has died. So,
this
unless
thing.
not even if you're a captain,
This
if
thing has
you
killed a captain. If you see this, run on sight.
like I even know like one thing he'll bring up is like I wonder what happened to the original court guard. It's funny to imagine some of them died trying to fight like Baragan and like Prime Stark.
Oh, I know that sounds like a fun like filler episode.
You know, Richie's ancestor died. He went in for a swinging kick and just turned to dust. Baragan's like, damn, that was weird.
Oh,
Wonder what
darn,
the
you're
hell that was.
fast. You're fast, buddy, but that doesn't matter to me. Whoop.
Yeah, that's fun to imagine. Who's what's next?
Next is the thing that made us feel dumb because some people want us to clarify.
Oh, just a cool theory video.
Yeah, so basically, it's about like the fight between Yuobak and Ichibei, where it's at one page where it seems that like where Ichibei was a baby, he was completely blacked out, and then like as
Yubal
like
was a baby.
yeah, sorry, that Yuhoba was a baby, and then like as he grew older, he eventually like the black like left him, and then we see like the name his followers gave him on top of a black layer of ink, which could be
It's
covering
like
what
the
his actual
exact
name.
same effect of when Ichibei does his powers.
Yeah, so like it
It
seems
was
like
like, oh,
yeah, because like it was a thing we talked about earlier, but like but this was always in the manga. It just went over our heads, and then we felt like idiots when we saw the video.
yeah, no, because I remember I asked Chess, I was like, Chess, have you heard the theory that Ichibei is the reason that Yuba didn't have a name at first and was so weak? And he's like, oh, that makes sense. And I showed him the page, and he's like, oh. I was like, I know, right?
It
Are
made me
we
feel
dumb or
so
what?
dumb. I felt so like, oh my god, I didn't need the anime to clarify this for me. It was
No,
always
it's
there.
not. Like, oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah. What's next?
Next is dude, do you know who Kuraku's son is?
Dude, I love this theory. I
All
don't
right,
care.
so Kuraku's son is obviously it could only be one person. It's Aizen.
Mhm. Yes.
Aizen is
We
Kuraku's
we learned
bastard
about
son.
this the other day, and everyone's being such a hater. Fuck you. I like it.
It's
Why do I
so
like it?
funny to
Because
imagine.
it's so funny to imagine. It's kind of like One Piece with like family members that don't matter. It's so funny to imagine that Kyoraku, back when he was a flirt, went and accidentally impregnated like some not very relevant woman, and she gave birth to Aizen, and neither of them know or care. It has no bearing on the story at all. It's just really funny to imagine.
I like to imagine like when Aizen was like doing his research, or like he like maybe accidentally found out. It's like, oh, okay,
No,
moving
or
on.
maybe he like realized he could find out his dad, and he's like, "Do I want to know?" And he's like, "Not really," and he kind of just moved on. He's like, "Do I care?"
It's just so funny because like Aizen like is specifically like written not to have like a concrete backstory and like initial motivation, at
No.
least not one that we see.
And
So
I
it's
love
like
it
you can imagine just
because
about
Kyoraku
anything.
being his dad isn't even like a cope explanation because it's like his like I don't know his deadbeat dad being a captain doesn't justify him wanting to kill the Soul King. Like
No,
those
it's
don't
just something stupid that you could just like say because you have room to say
like
it.
why not? Who cares?
Yeah, like why not? Okay, this is something you pointed out, which is cool. Is that the final Getsuga Tensho is kind of like a firework, which like what the Shiba and it's supposed to be a Shiba clan technique, and they make fireworks and stuff.
Oh, I mean like the technique is like a firework where it's like all the power in one big blast, which is kind of gets Tensho's in general,
Yeah, you
which is
put
just like
all your
oh.
bit power into one big
Yeah.
swing.
And then what I pointed out is we know Ishin also has access to Getsuga Tensho and the final Getsuga Tensho, which is like, oh, I bet Ishin's Bonkai was firing off flaming Getsuga Tenshos that exploded like fireworks. I would bet money that is what his power does.
Oh yeah, no, probably. It's probably related to fireworks in some way.
Yeah. And like maybe like the explosions hurt him, and that's what Aizen meant by it's draining on his body.
He becomes the firework.
He's like, oh fuck. It's
like
really painful.
literally like his
That-
arm like his arm and like his toes split off. It's like ah,
I hate this power.
got
That'd
him
be
though.
funny.
I got him though.
Yeah,
Not many people can take that hit.
do we have anything else?
We have bad opinions, but do you have any more good ones?
Off the top of my head. Oh, it's something I joked about with Chas. My the funniest joke I can think of for the start of Hellverse is like everyone's getting ready to go in, right? For
Yeah.
Hell Arc, everyone's getting ready to go in. And then they're like, Mayuri, are you not coming? And he's like, one, guard of hell, guy who I tortured. No. Second of all, have you met me? I know where I'm going.
I was imagining as soon as like some one of the people in charge of Hell sees him, like, oh, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting a long time for
Mayuri's like, I
you.
know where I'm. Mayuri's like, I know where I'm going, and I'm gonna wait as long as possible. Do this one without me, fucker. I like that. I think that'd be cute.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything else. Can I
How
do the two
about
bad opinions I found?
okay, but first I just want to bring up this idea that is it possible that like hell does not judge you too harshly for like crimes against soul reapers, and that's maybe an explanation for why
I,
Ginjo didn't go to hell?
I don't like that theory. I prefer the theory that Ginjo was just kind of justified.
Well, no, like that's cool too, but like also like, is it possible that hell is like a bias against soul reapers because of like the way they forcibly change the world?
Maybe that'd be neat, but
Yeah,
also
that
like
could be neat.
ideally, Soul Reapers are supposed to be part of the cycle with Hell.
Well, the thing is, we know hell is supposed to be older than like the concept of soul reapers, and that like they had like a quote unquote original sin which like changed the world. So it's possible that like hell might have a bias against them for that reason.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll also have to see how Ichigo ties to Hell. They could just do the fact that he's died before. It's like the easy answer.
it's like, oh yeah.
um, that's the easy answer. So we'll see.
The funniest thing they could do is that they just flash back to the movie and pretend like that's canon.
I hope not. 'Cause that movie's not very good. Oh, there's my actual first bad opinion. Why is the first movie technically canon? It's not very good. Also, I don't know where it takes place because, all right, so Ichigo
Yeah.
and Rukia start the movie together hunting a hollow. So it's like, okay, is this pre-Soul Society? No, Ichigo's his fucking
That's the
Bankai.
one where like he like befriends that one girl, right?
The purple girl, and then he forgets about her. That's why it can be canon because they forgot everything. Um,
Right.
it's like, okay, wait. So they start the movie hunting halls together. Rukia's in like casual clothes. It's like, okay,
All
but
right.
Ichigo has Bankai. It's
Karakura
like, okay,
Town. Substitute
so
Soul
this,
Reaper arc.
but he has his Bankai. So it's like, okay, wait, is this like during a Roncar? But like the Soul Reapers show up and Ichigo's surprised that they're there. So this couldn't be during a Roncar. And then like, well, that means the only like realistic answer to me is that Ichigo's big reunion with Rukia and Arrancar, that wasn't a big deal. They already met up again a bit ago to do this movie.
Dude, I love that, like, the only convenient place to cram the movies is literally, like, in the 10 days in between, like, the first Arankar attack and, like, them going to Waco Mundo for the first
And what's
time.
funny is this time that doesn't even work because like what because certain people aren't here who should be and certain people are here who aren't. So literally the only time that movie makes sense for me is if Rukia's big reunion with Ichigo and Arrancar. Bullshit. They had already met up earlier.
Oh, you know what's actually
um,
great about that period I just talked about?
what?
It is where Bleach felt the most like a Magic Girl anime.
That's true.
Like,
One
oh no,
thing,
the villains just teleport in, and then like you gotta do a thing. Oh
yeah.
no, and then they disappear back to their dimension, and we gotta fight them next
I mean,
episode.
you say that, but Substitute Soul Reaper is also a lot like a magical girl anime.
And then
You
like
got
sometimes
this,
we
you
cut
got
back
the
to Aizen in
children
his
dad
chair.
forcing our protagonist who's just like, I just want to do school. And they're like, no, you have to fight monsters. Early Substitute is also a lot. That's because Ichigo has one thing very in common with a lot of magical girl protagonists, which
Double
is
life.
they kind of don't want to.
Yeah,
They
and then
don't
like a
want to.
double life, and they don't want to.
Yeah. It's just fun. All right, so no, I'm not happy that movie's canon. It's not very good. It's kind of mid and boring, and like I think I said this before. It's not impossible, but Ichigo like dicking around with a girl he just met for a day and becoming like close friends with her is like that's not impossible. But also that's he's not Naruto. He's
Yeah.
like kind of like a mopey nerd. Like normally he makes friends in like kind of stupid ways because he's like kind of stupid. So not impossible, but like kind of weird. I don't like the movie. I don't think it's very good. It's the thing where like we like that the novels are canon because they're great. I
I
don't like
know.
that this movie is technically kind of canon now. I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm gonna keep saying it's canon to the anime, and that's
Oh,
gonna be
listen,
my
like
joke
again,
till I
like
die.
canon's not like a measure of quality at all. But like
No, it's just
but
like
like
it's
if you could
annoying.
choose to cut something out, it'd be nice if you can choose to cut it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Can's basically just like stuff where fans will yell at you for ignoring it if you ignore it. Speaking of which, everyone getting mad at you because you called the anime only Bankai
Senjumaru.
filler.
Yeah, Senjumaru's
Uh,
Bankai. And like, you listen, it was like I'm not gonna defend myself. I understand that Kubo was in charge of writing, and it's probably really cool. Also, though, we was in the middle of the hiatus, so I couldn't even give you a proper analysis at that point in
yeah.
time, and I'm never gonna. It's
They were
too
just
late
really mad
now.
at you because you said filler and they took that as a slight. You got some people being like, as far as I'm concerned, the anime's more canon than the manga.
It's all right. Like I see what you're going with there. Like I understand that take. I think that's a really rude way to put it, but like still, I understand that.
I
Like, oh,
I think it's more like Bleach is in the unique position where both are like valid experiences to have of that arc.
yeah, like, cause like one's like literally like the original, and the other's like, okay, the original author is back, and this is just some stuff he wanted to add, or like wishes he
Where
could have
like
added.
I'm gonna be honest, the correct way is you read the whole manga and then you watch Blood War to see the things. You're like, oh, cool. That'd have been cool if it was in the manga. Instead, it's in this anime, which, while well animated, I don't like how it looks. uh,
I think like it'll look like some of the fights will be really good, but even then, like some of the fights, I'm like, oh man, I like
like
the manga so much
obviously
better though.
they don't have the power to match the stills that Kubo has,
Yeah,
and
the one I
sometimes
always think
um
about is
Yamamoto's looks like shit.
Yamamoto. Yeah, I know that one. Like when he first reveals his manga, it's like, man, you took like all the
No,
power out of
no,
that
Puff, what's funny
image.
is like Renji's still reactivates his Bankai in the anime. It's like it's worse, but it's like, you know what? That's hard to pull off, and you try it. And also, next to it, you have like a bunch of Sakuga of Mass to Mass beating the shit out of Renji and it not working. So like, fair trade off. We're
Yeah,
still cool Sakuga.
it's pretty. It's a pretty great adaptation, honestly.
Whereas Yamamoto is just like they didn't even try. Like he's in like they don't even like try to like remove the background. He's just in front of a fucking wall. He looks like a feeble old man. There's no terror behind it. It's really lame. I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
Um yeah. Okay, and then all right, can I do the two bad opinions I found?
sure.
One, I found this earlier and I sent it to you and complained a lot. Someone posted a meme where it's like, hey, skipping OG Bleach and starting from the Blood War is like skipping the trash and going right to the good part, which is like, you know what? If you're
Fuck you.
anime only, no, Puff, if you're anime only, I get why you think that. but
Okay.
also, but also, go read a damn manga, you idiot. And then someone said, how can you enjoy the final arc of a series if you didn't watch any of it? A valid question, because yes, you should not start a series the final arc. That's stupid. And then someone came in with long form series are made to be enjoyed from any point, even if from first of all, no, they're not. What are you talking about?
All right, I understand this is coming from someone with an
No,
invincible.
no, no. Don't get to that part yet. Don't get to that part yet. Just Puff overall long form
Shiki, that part's
series.
better than you think it is.
No, I'm gonna get to it now. Long form series are meant to be enjoy are made to be enjoyed from any point. That's not a blanket term. That's case by case. Some definitely are. Like Doraemon. I'm going to say with rough confidence, you can probably start Doraemon at any episode and more or less jump right in. Or Crayon Shin-chan. I'm going to guess you can kind of jump right in, especially if you're Japanese and he's already part of the zeitgeist, so you kind of know who he is. Um, like Pokemon. Like it's like there's this a ongoing plot, but unless you join like mid tournament, you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think you can maybe see the same for maybe something like Inuyasha, where like literally they're fighting the same
It's pretty
main villain for
episodic.
like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really episodic, and there's the same main villain for like 90% of the whole thing. So
Like
it's like
like there
it's
are
always that
big
guy.
progressions, which is fun, but like you can kind of jump
Yeah,
in.
as long as you understand that they're trying to get that one guy who keeps escaping at the end of every other episode,
But
you're
then
good.
there's series where I just wouldn't agree. Like I don't think you should jump into Naruto at just any fucking. I don't think you should start Naruto at Tenchi Bridge. I think that's stupid. I think that's dumb. You should start at the beginning. But then what they say is even if from the beginning is obviously for the best. Stan Lee has a great quote that any comic can be someone's first issue, so you should always make it so people can jump in whenever. Okay, that's Stan Lee's philosophy on comics. What does that have to do with it? And what's funny is what he's bringing up is like an ideology. Like he's like, it would be good, but that doesn't mean that's what happens.
All right, and again, like huge difference just between how like comics and like manga tend to work is that like if I'm thinking like Incredible Hulk, right? I just need to start at like the like a different writer will be in charge like every couple years. They'll do their thing. Like even then like starting Planet Hulk in the middle of the issues of it where it was running is not even the best idea, but like you should start like in between or like in between like large chunks, like that'd probably be best. Or like, a lot of the issues are meant to like be standalone where it's like, oh, I'm gonna see Hulk fight this villain this chapter and then this villain the next issue. Sorry, I'm getting issue and chapter mixed up. But you know what actually kind of gets me about this thing, the guy is an invincible profile pic, right?
Isn't Invincible like one of the easiest ones to just read from beginning to end?
Yes, in fact, I would say that you're like clearly meant to do that. Like, it's much closer to like something like Bleach than like the Hulk issues 1 to 1003 bajillion.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I actually read the comic for Invincible, or at least like the first chunk of it. When the
Yeah.
like I read pretty much the first season and a bit beyond when the first season came out. Before I even like watched it, I read
Mm-hmm.
it, and like I cannot imagine like jumping in at the chapter or issue where Omni Man says I miss my wife without understanding what the first like 10 issues, what happened in the first 10 or 20 issues. Like, are you kidding me? What?
Well, there's just a lot. Like currently in season three,
How do you
one thing
emotionally
they keep
respond
bringing.
to the guy saying "I miss my wife" if you never seen him
Mhm.
interact with his
Oh,
wife, what he did on Earth, or how he even
um,
described
uh,
his relationship with his wife was before that
Puff, I don't
point?
count this. I don't count this as a spoiler, but there's a scene in the because it's very cut and dry. There's a scene in the recent season where someone threatens Omni Man by saying, "Does your kid know that you're a cold-blooded murderer?" And it's like, imagine watching that and not knowing what Omni Man did. You're like, what? What the fuck did he do? And you're like, oh, he killed the Justice League.
No, like I remember, like
um,
you remember that one line where he's talking with Mark and he's like, "Listen, I love your mother. She's like a pet." And then like of course the thing about that line later on is like, "Oh, she meant way more to him than he wanted to let on or that he even realized."
basically
You
just
miss all of that if you skip the first chunk of
basically just
Invincible.
it's an excuse to be lazy. Saying I can jump in whenever I want and not lose that much. You're just making an excuse for being lazy and wanting to join the hype train instead of starting where you're fucking supposed to. You can admit that. It's okay. And then this was funny. Someone said Ichigo is a boring stoic block of a protagonist. You can't tell me what he likes on his day off.
He
First of
plays
all,
Tekken.
no, 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 shut up, shut up. Ignoring that. How is knowing what a character does on their day off a way to judge writing quality? What? And also, like,
I
what's
think it
funny?
just comes
You
from
know
the
who?
like,
You know
oh,
who
they
is?
want to be like
You
a
know who is?
well-rounded, realistic character. You
No.
would know what their hobbies are, I guess.
Yeah, but like, I don't think that's valid. Like,
You're
oh, Puff,
right.
here's one. I couldn't tell you what Puff. One of my favorite fictional characters of all time, Simone from Gurren Lagann. I don't know what the fuck he does in his free time.
I assume that he digs holes and has sex with Nia, I guess.
No, the problem is okay. Okay, the problem with both of those is once the city's built, there's nowhere to dig holes, and he's such a fucking dorky loser. I don't know if he's actually fucked Nia or not. So
Well,
I
let me
don't
dream,
know.
okay? Let me dream.
No, so it's like, is that what he does? Does he just? Because that's the thing, and like that doesn't make Simon a bad character. That's just not relevant to what makes him great. Is that I know what he does on his free time. I don't fucking care. And then next, we do know Ichigo is Ichigo
he
one studies a fuck ton, so he'd probably study. Two, we
he
know he
helps
likes
ghosts.
Shakespeare, so
He
he'd
helps
probably read Shakespeare.
ghosts. He helps
He helps
ghosts.
ghosts. Yeah, he does. It is free. That's the thing we see him doing in his
He
free time
gets
is
into
helping ghosts.
fights.
He gets into fights half the time. Not like Ichigo's like funny. Like he's like a victim, but also he likes fighting. So like it is kind of a hobby. Um, he and then on top of that, what else does he do?
He plays Tekken.
He plays Tekken. We know he likes Shakespeare, so odds are he reads it. We know his favorite songs, so he listens to music. And then also, let's be honest, Ichigo on his free time is the type of guy to kind of just sit around the house all day.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of guy he is.
Like, yo, guys,
Sit
come
around
over to my
the
house. Let's play Tekken.
Yeah, like he's the type of guy to kind of lounge around all day, maybe read some manga for a bit, maybe play some Tekken for a bit, eat bread when Orihime brings it over, and then otherwise, um, just nothing. Like if his friends text him and say, "Come do this with us," he will. But if they don't, he's just going to lounge around. because that's just the type of guy he is. And Puff, what's funny about the whole stoic block thing is like, you want to know an actual example? Musashi Miyamoto, especially when he's an adult in Vagabond, is just like a very stoic, serious man. And I know what he does on his day off, but all it does is tell me that he's a stoic, serious man. 'Cause you know what he does when he's not training or eating?
Like napping or like looking at the sky and brooding.
Napping and carving wooden Buddha statues. That's the most stoic block motherfucker thing I've ever heard of.
Badass.
Like, it's great. It fits him well. I like Musashi a lot, but like that's why that metric is kind of ass. Just a stupid comment. I think what I said is how is your ability to write a character in a coffee shop AU a genuinely meaningful way to judge?
Yeah, you know. All right. I have one, but it might take me a minute to find it. Interpolate.
Okay, in the meantime, Puff sent me a really funny tweet where someone said what shonen protagonists' jobs in the real world would be, and they did firefighter for Luffy because that's from an SBS, but they said Ichigo would be a houseman when we know his fucking job. He's a translator. We know his job.
Yep.
Like, obviously, it's partially bait. Okay, when I say bait, I mean Deku and Boruto are bait because they're McDonald's employee and delivery man.
Fuck, I can't find it.
Oh well.
All right, so do you remember the someone interpolated the first Bleach opening? Do you remember when that happened?
And it was the most painful thing I've ever fucking seen.
It made it like that, like I'm sure most people watch the video think that it's like iconic and they love the first Bleach opening. The interpolation made it look really cheap, like super
it made it
cheap.
look like all of the like quick cuts and like good editing that made it work failed because shocker interpolation doesn't care about keeping up with the snappy cuts that match the music. Interpolation is just fucking adding frames for the sake of frames because interpolation fucking sucks.
Yeah, also, like, again, like, it makes it look so cheap because, like, it made Ichigo, like, you know, like that opening shot where, like, it's just him, like, slowly panning across the screen. It made it so smooth that it looked like something I just threw together in, like, my video editor when I'm doing a dumb joke. Like, it made it look like that. And I'm like, that's, like, the whole opening. Like, stop it!
Well, that's because I would say a few things that interpolation struggles with the most, Puff, are one is like loose flowy things like hair or ribbons. Those look like they're dying when they get interpolated. The second is like any quick cuts to music because the interpolation adds frames and thus the punchiness of the cut goes away. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Third is panning shots because it tries to add frames and the panning shots pace gets kind of fucked, so it might slow down for a second and then jump forward. It's really bad.
I know. And like doing it for like anime, like I'm sure like there are some places where interpolation works better than others, but like for anime seems like
well, for animation in general,
for
like,
older anime, like I'd say like it definitely doesn't work because like you remember
well,
like
I don't think it works in general because like it's just how interpolation works. It's just adding frames without a goal in mind. Like I heard someone say maybe it might have a use in some video games. I wouldn't know. I'm not a video game man. But I can say with absolute confidence that's not how animation works because just adding frames for the sake of frames is just overcomplicating something that's already done. It's like fucking adding a pound of salt to your cheeseburger. Why?
Yeah, no, like do you remember that Dragon Ball game? I think it was Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It's the one that usually Mocha's usually playing.
Yeah, fighters.
They actually like managed to like emulate the original style of Dragon Ball much better than like all the other games, specifically because they lowered the frame rate. Yeah, and that made it match the original original anime much better, and like just made the whole game look it just made it look good. It just made it look better.
They even actually, I think
that's even what they did for like the superheroes movie. Like they like didn't go too crazy on the frame rate in order to like kind of keep it like
most of the time. Yeah,
most of the time.
Puff, do you know? But I didn't. Puff, I said 4 things. You want to know the actual worst looking interpolated thing ever?
Oh, what?
I found this and I was going through interpolated openings for the fun of it with Chaz and Mocha. Puff, it's the best.
I'm just imagining the net like coming to life, like it's some sort of horror movie monster and it's just shaking and shaking.
Nice. All right. Is that it for Bleach?
I have one opinion that was an old one that I used to have about Bleach's ending.
Oh, okay. We're gonna make fun of old you. All right.
Yes, we're gonna make fun of old me. My old opinion is that having grief and fear of death as one as like your main theme while delving into the afterlife in excruciating detail is stupid.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I think it was because I compared a lot to One Piece, and it's like, oh, One Piece, when someone dies for good, they're dead, and we don't know what happens to them afterwards, and, you only get one life, so you gotta do what you can with it. And, like, with
Hmm.
Bleach, it's just, one thing I think I failed to take into consideration is that whenever someone, like, a character we like dies in Bleach, we never see them again, unless it's Ginjo and the Fullbringers.
Ginjo, my goat.
That's the one example where like we actually see someone after they die is Ginjo and the Fullbringers. Other than that, does Chad get to see his grandpa or his abuelo again? No. Does the bird kid get to see his mom again? No. Does Ichigo get to see his mom again? No. Does Orihime get to meet her brother again? No.
No, yeah. So basically, that
Yeah.
it
So like
doesn't it
it's
doesn't get
still
in its own way.
yeah.
All right, that's it.
Yep, that is it. Woohoo! I guess
Next we might Epo if Mocha's in the mood,
yeah.
or
If
we might do a dumb tier list because we've been puff. This is just obviously more easy, lazy, dumb shit. Our top comment on the last One Piece opinions is telling us to make a gayness tier list, and oh my god, that would be so fucking fun and so easy, but so fun, so fun, so fun. There's like two ways to do it too. It's like oh, we got like the asexual, the bisexual, the pansexual, and then the like how gay or straight are you? I think the funnier way to do it is the tiers are just not gay to super gay. Like how straight they are is not even a question. We're only asking how gay they are. I think that's infinitely funnier.
And we have maybe if we're doing it from the first way, it's just like, all right, we have like buy as the default. If we don't know, you go and buy, because that's
Oh,
the
one thing I guess we could do because someone's been commenting it a couple times and it's gotten a lot of likes is the whole what if they won villain tier list. All I'll say for that is if you want us to do that, give us some examples because like we need villains that are actually interesting to talk about. Because a lot of villains is like, oh, the world
dude.
ends.
Madara gave us the Matrix. Honestly, like as long as I'm not aware of the Matrix seems pretty cool.
Assuming I don't like die or something. uh, yeah, that's about it.
If Edelgard won, that's not the worst thing. Honestly, that's a
I
pretty
wouldn't
livable
know, and I
world.
don't want you to tell me because I
That's
haven't
a
played the
that's
game
a
yet.
really livable world. Honestly.
Okay,
All right.
all right,
Goodbye.
that's it.